Hello, everyone. We're back. Second one of the day. We're at the Ord Compound, beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. And this time I'm joined by an amazing artist, Creatress. She does AR, XR, VR, every single R you've ever heard of, 3D sculpting. She actually released her first ordinal. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But before we do that, Creatress, how are you doing? How's the compound been so far?
The compound. Hi, thank you for having me, first of all. I'm doing great. Beautiful day, just getting started. This is my first order of business, besides, getting ready and started.
We're forcing people to wake up early to do these.
It's 11.
It's 11.
Here.
Yes.
And we did have a late night, but I'm feeling great. Actually, didn't sleep that much, but surprisingly, I think I'm running on excitement.
Nice. I would say there is excitement in the air. It's palpable. Okay, so yeah, if you're not running on 2 hours of sleep, like you're not taking advantage of the conference, you know. So get back out there. So maybe let's just start off with, as an artist, like, so when did you get started with art? How did you get into this whole, like, because the whole AR, XR, VR is a brand new world, pretty much. It's like, the first artist maybe 20 years ago, I feel like, started actually doing this, and the technology was so limited. Now we're in this, like, up-curb revolution of, new products coming out, new artists. So, yeah, how'd you get started?
How to get started with art? I think the first actual time I remember was like mud pies when I was like
nice.
6 with my cousin, getting like super dirty with it, but like having so much fun. And then that went to like 6th grade, making ceramic bowls on, on a potter's wheel at school.
Great.
Which was like,
also, your school had a pottery class. It's in 6th grade. It's amazing.
I went to the museum school. It's a charter school in San Diego. Shout out to the museum school. I would not be an artist, I don't think,
beautiful,
had I not gone there for 6th grade. And yeah, that was that. And then, art classes, and then eventually went to art school, of course.
Okay, nice.
Took all the mediums.
Okay, beautiful.
So
that's why you're on the new media. You went through every medium in art school, and we said, okay, let's hit a new one.
Exactly. And it's got to do a lot with sculpture, too, because, of course, I took sculpture in art school. I took glass blowing, which is a type of sculpture as well. And I accumulated a lot of sculptures. And as artists, especially if you're very prolific, you end up with a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Especially if you're making sculptures. So storage quickly became an issue, and then the sculptures degrade over time. And guess what? In VR, when you're sculpting in 3D, that is a digital sculpture. So there's no storage. I mean, cloud storage.
Yeah.
But that's easier to come by.
I could just pay a little bit more and keep adding more sculptures. Yeah.
Yes. And so that was one of the big reasons why now I'm sculpting digitally.
Awesome. So when did you first start sculpting digitally? How long ago?
I started in 2021. January 2021 was the first time I tried it.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the future, I don't know yet, but like in 10 years, anyone who's pre-Apple Vision Pro, it's going to be like, whoa, you were pre-Apple Vision Pro? Intense. You were in the early era,
Yep, I definitely was pre-Apple Vision Pro. I actually haven't tried it.
Really?
We were just talking about that recently because it's been out for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I've been based in Maui for the past 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Amazing. Love it.
Also, wait, you're in Maui and you're putting on VR head goggles and work. Come on now. I wouldn't be.
Well, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
Right? I spend a lot of time in nature, a lot of time at the beach, but, I'm a tech person. I love tech. I've always loved tech. So that's kind of my midway. But yeah, honestly, I forgot my.
No worries. So when you were sculpting originally, like pre anything digital here, what were you like sculpting? What was the sculptures? Yeah, the mesh, the medium,
I have there's a range. One I'll mention a couple. One sculpture that I made that was in an art show back in about 2016 was like the top half of a mannequin that was converted into like a projector that I made.
Okay.
And it was painted, and there was just elements of like the human figure, women mainly, and then a projection coming out of like the boob part.
Okay, nice.
I know, right? And then another sculpture that I have that was also in an exhibition at San Diego State where I went was a mannequin, the legs. So it's the bottom. So, say it's like from here down, mannequin legs. I put tights on, and I added a live plant, like a live aloe plant.
Oh,
so
cool.
like a bio sculpture type thing.
Cool,
found object with with plants, with a plant that I found, a nice big aloe. What's another sculpture? My glass blown sculptures. I've made a few orbs. I've made some pitchers out of glass. Bunch of paperweights.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I could go on, but that's what comes off.
So when you went over to digital, then what'd you find yourself exploring first? Were you saying, okay, I was making these things physically, now let me make them digitally, or was it okay, I could do crazy new stuff, So yeah, what was the early era when you first started in 2021 doing the digital sculpting?
It was just, what can I make? Like, let me just learn the tool, right? Because it's like learning a whole new program. Like when you learn Photoshop for the first time, or Blender, which
I've been trying to learn Photoshop for a decade, and Canva came out, and I gave up finally. It's been great.
don't hate on Canva, y'all.
Oh, I'm not hating. I love it.
No, I know you're not, but I'm just saying for anybody who's out there listening, who's like, oh, Canva. And it's like, no, actually, Canva is pretty close to Photoshop without like the 10-year learning curve.
No, exactly.
And the $80 a month Adobe. Adobe, come on, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't use Photoshop. I haven't used Photoshop since university,
Oh, nice.
when I had to do digital design, and that was like what we used in class.
Totally. So when what were the first like tools you were using for digital sculpting? Like the programs or the actual goggles you were using, or?
Yeah, the first VR headset that I used was the MetaQuest Pro.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was still owned by Oculus.
Yes.
Before Meta acquired them. And it happened just like right around the time that I got the headset. So then that was that transition. That was my first one. And the app is called Gravity Sketch.
Okay, cool.
I tried one other one. I think it was like the Google version. I can't. The name
HTC
escapes
Vive or something, or one of those.
No, not a different headset.
Oh,
a different
program.
app. The name is escaping me right now.
Okay, no worries.
Gravity Sketch is my one.
And that's what you're using still.
Every time.
Nice, cool. Yeah,
pretty loyal. Gravity Sketch, if you're listening, I would love to be an ambassador.
Yes, sponsor.
I use it all the time.
Nice.
And I recommend people to use it because it was free back in the day. I think it's still only like $30.
Oh, nice.
It's amazing.
Way better than the Photoshop. You're every month I'm paying way too much money.
Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious then, what's the evolution been like? So started in 2021, you're just experimenting, you're learning the tools. Now you've been in it for a little while, right? You have 4 years now you've been digitally sculpting. What has the evolution been like? Where have you seen your art go with now you're learning the tools better?
Well, I think as I started learning the tools, I learned I could actually make stuff that I wanted to make, not just abstract, although I love abstract. But the evolution, I think, it started just making sculptures. Now I can make more of an environment. Now I know how to make a lot of small detail. I know how to bring in specific environments, which has opened up a whole new thing for also sponsorships for my different tour stops. Because, for example, the Nouns, which love the Nouns DAO.
Me too.
Yeah. Who doesn't love the Nouns? But yeah, they got the Noggles. So for one of my performances, that they sponsored, I had like the environment was all Noggles.
Nice.
The 360 virtual environment that I was sculpting in was like a custom thing. So that's been really fun. What else? Yeah, just learning how to access all the tools better, and every like different setting helps me when I perform, because then I can just more easily and like smoothly transition between things.
Totally. So that's definitely something very different than physical sculpture. When you think of a sculpture, here's a sculpture. You don't think of here's a sculpture. Here's the whole room I've designed, right? So it's definitely like a step up for you design your art gallery and the sculpture inside of there. So when you started doing that, how did you start figuring out, like the Noggle? That's a good example of you're working with the Nouns. How do you think of do you build the environment first and then the sculpture, or you like sculpture then environment?
So basically, okay, just a distinction. So every time I go into the Gravity Sketch studio, you're in this like 360 environment, and like the default one is like an art gallery, like an industrial looking art gallery. Yeah. And they have a bunch of different presets that you can flip through. It could just be an all black room. It could be an all white room. It could be like a gradient of colors that you choose. And so within that, they also let you upload your own HDRI is what they're called, which is like a 360 kind of panoramic photo, like a long landscape that they wrap around as,
gotcha. Yes,
as 360. So I'm not necessarily like building that environment. I just want to be clear because I don't want to,
sure.
So I'm not building that environment. I'm just uploading a photo. Usually it's a photo that I designed or, put together, or artwork. And then that is what gets chosen and put on as a thing. So it's not so much like building it like that. Totally. But then I build the sculpture within that environment.
Totally. You're picking the place, like if you could, where are you going to sculpt? I'm going to sculpt here. I want to sculpt. Well, I would sculpt where you actually live. I'd be sculpting in Maui if I could just choose.
That's a good idea. Actually, I've never uploaded a photo from Maui as the 360
Yeah.
environment. I'm gonna do that.
There we
I have a performance tonight. I'm gonna do that.
So I that,
For a little
beautiful.
bit.
Okay, good. Okay, so whatever you sell, I get a little bit of commission. I'm just joking. So you keep performance. What does your performances look like? How does that actually, like, you're sculpting live is the idea?
Yes. So I'm okay. Let me paint the picture for you. I'm here. I'm wearing my VR headset. Okay, I'm wearing it. I got 2 controllers, one here, and this is what makes the sculpture happen. So you in the audience are looking at me, and behind me is usually a screen, a big screen.
Yeah.
And that screen is showing exactly what I'm looking at
Totally.
via Bluetooth. They're usually Bluetooth connected from the headset to the screen.
Nice.
And then the audience can see every single move. And every time I move my head, the whole camera moves because it's the VR headset, right? And then there's music. There's an element of music.
Nice.
I make a curated playlist.
Cool.
And
What are the vibes for the curated playlist for tonight?
excuse me?
What are the vibes for the playlist tonight?
Ooh, the vibes for the playlist tonight are always a little bit of Latin, a little
Okay.
bit of, slow build up at the beginning. It'll be a little bit of violin. I
Okay.
like really like visceral music, the type of thing that starts and you like immediately like just want to move or like it like inspires you to move or do
Yeah.
something. So that's kind of always the vibe.
Totally. Okay, nice. Yeah, when did you start doing the performances after you started doing the 3D sculpting?
The first performance was November 5th, 2021.
Oh, nice. So you started you were sculpting and then we're performing. That's
Pretty
good.
much. Yeah, it happened very naturally. I just responded to an inquiry about like who wants to do live painting at this satellite event during NFT NYC, and I was like, oh, I've done live painting because I've done live painting.
Yeah.
And then when it came down to it, I was like, well, I could do this other thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys have a projector and Wi-Fi, and they're like, sure, try it.
Nice.
And it worked, and I loved it, and the response from it was so like. It was really powerful. And I remember even the next day looking at the photos from the performance for the first time. And I literally cried. I was like, oh my God, like that's me? Like what?
Yeah.
Like I think I just found something.
Totally.
And then from there I've just continued. I've done about 30 performances so far.
Oh wow, awesome. That's that's good. I was saying every time you're on stage, it's worth so much more than being in a studio alone. I would love to like understand how have they evolved the performances from 1 to 30?
There's been so many things. I learned something every time. So I've learned how to kind of more smoothly figure out the tech, right? Because there's a lot of things that need to go right when you're working with tech and art.
Oh yeah.
And when you're relying on a few different tech things to go right. So, Wi-Fi, software updates. One time there was a software update right before my performance. I was just like, all right, I need 5 minutes.
Yep.
The headset is updating. Now the controllers are updating.
Yep.
No, the music has evolved. Every single time there's a different playlist. Sometimes some songs overlap, but it very much relates to like what I'm into at the time, like my favorite songs at the time. I've collaborated now with live music.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Musicians, many musicians. I've got my friend Out of Body. Shout out to Out of Body. He did whistling. He does a whistle, really good whistle.
Nice.
Yes, he performed with me at Blunts and Brunch in NFT NYC.
I think I know some friends that went to this.
To Blunts and Brunch?
I know. Someone was saying I went to I remember there's like a whistling performance with some live art. I remember friends telling me it was in NFT NYC.
Yeah.
I think it might have been this event. Yeah.
I don't know that many other people that were doing.
Yeah,
this
I don't know.
thing.
Yeah, the live whistling. Yeah, that's the one that stuck out with me.
Well, yes. Shout out to Out of Body. He does beautiful whistle. And he also does flute. So the first performance we did together, he whistled for about 5 minutes. And then in Austin for Consensus, we did a follow-up. He did his flute. He also plays the flute really well. So that was the intro. And then from there, after the flute was done, it went into music.
Okay, cool.
My usual
Nice.
music. So it was, started off really, setting the mood. And then I've also performed with DJs as well.
Okay, cool.
I've got to perform at Nebula nightclub in New York, which is like a legit nightclub with
So
screens
you're just
on the
painting and
ceiling.
people are just partying, dancing.
I was in like a little section,
Yeah.
like a little section they had for me, and I had my friends there with me and stuff, and then on the screens behind the DJ, above the dance floor,
Love
like
that.
was all the stuff.
Also,
It
I
was
love
really
the
fun.
idea of being like, who are those people over there? It's like, those are the artists. Like in the club, like they're making art right now. Look, it's over there. I want to get not VIP. I want the artist, VIP.
Oh my God, it was like it was like the culmination of all my favorite things because I've always loved like the club scene, but I look, that sounds weird. I love dancing.
Yeah.
I love music. I love hanging out with my friends and dancing with my friends. And best of all, having our own private area to dance and
yeah.
not be disturbed. And, you know, so it was like, I got a VIP section. I'm making art. My art's on all the screens. My friends are all
Yeah,
here.
totally.
It was like, and it was also my birthday. So
Oh,
one of my
nice.
friends, oh my gosh, it was, yeah, Nebula nightclub. That was in 2022 during NFT NYC. It was the Rad event. It was the NFT NYC after party, official after party, and yeah, that was put on by Rad, and my friend JJ Love actually hooked me up with that performance. So shout out to both of them.
So it sounds like we need a residency. You got to find a residency for you where you're doing. That sounds like a. I would want to go to a club more if I was like, and they'll be live digital sculpting. I'd be like, cool, there you go. I can, I'm awkward at the club. I'm like, cool, I can look at art. This is good. I'll hold my drink and dance.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If anyone's listening, I would love a residency at a club. Actually, and right now I'm kind of in between. I'm in transition, right? I'm trying to decide where I'm gonna live next. So, in general, I've been thinking like a residency would be one of the things that I should be looking into, right? Because you're talking about a club residency. That's different than what I'm thinking. I was thinking more of like an art residency.
No, an
where
art.
they give you
No,
a place
yeah.
to stay and you just
Yeah.
make art for a certain amount of time. I would love to do that with a club or with a museum or art
Totally.
organization. So just putting that out there.
Okay, nice. We're gonna get this right. This is, if you don't know, everyone's watching us. All the top, curators, museum. So one thing also I think that's pretty interesting because doing all this stuff live, and you were talking a lot of NFT stuff. Like, what are you capturing to show people at the end, right? Because you're producing, like, it's not just the final output. There's this whole process of actually building it live. So like. Yeah, how do you think about that? Do you think that's like part of the art? Is that just the process of making the art, or
Yeah, that's a fun question, right? Is it the live performance that's the art, or is it the sculpture that I made during the live performance?
Yeah.
Or is it a video or a photo of me during the live performance, right? I think it's all of the above. I started the first performance I did. The way I did it was I made 2 sculptures because you can have layers in Gravity Sketch. So I made a few layers, a few different sculptures. Also, I took a break in between that one. So anyway, so what I did was I minted the first layer, just the first layer, of edition of 5. And then the final piece was minted as a 1 of 1, and it was auctioned.
Okay, nice.
So that was the first thing I did. The first performance I ever did, I minted the sculptures.
Nice.
Every single time it's kind of changed, but pretty much always it's a 3D GLB sculpture. Most marketplaces allow them, not all of them.
Yeah.
So it has evolved.
You want to call anyone out?
No, but Known Origin, it was nice. And
yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah, I spent a lot of ETH gas on minting my sculptures there.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, we need to work on saving them because they said they'll pay 2 years is they're gonna keep them up. You heard that, right?
I honestly haven't looked too far into it. I was just kind of sad about it. And we've been in Nashville, so I haven't been worrying about it too much. But since you brought it up, I'm like, well, but no. So I've minted on several platforms and always depended on, do they support GLB?
Totally.
Right? Do they have a GLB viewer so that way people can like zoom in and like the 3D sculpture turns on its own. Yeah.
Nice. So it sounds like, I mean, you've been OG NFT, right? You're describing performing at, early, OG events here. When did you first end up in the scene?
Yeah, early 2021. I was on Clubhouse.
Okay, nice. There you go. Everything starts at Clubhouse.
So yeah. January 2nd, 2021 was my Clubhouse birthday. And I only know that because it says there at the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. And that's literally when I think NFTs really started.
No, it was, yeah.
That's when it, right? So I was there, and honestly, it took me a while to mint. I wish sometimes that I had just gone ahead and minted when everybody started minting, but I was like, oh no, I need to wait. I need to yeah. But I was there.
Nice.
Sure.
I was gonna say Clubhouse. It's wild. It's hard to tell people. It's like, well, we have Twitter Space. Like, no, Clubhouse was different. Okay, it was a moment in time where you're like, wait, Mark Andreessen is on stage with Mark Cuban, and I'm in the stage too. It was
and Gary V's here too.
Gary, exactly. It was a wild world. So so now you've actually put something. You made an ordinal, right?
Yes.
And so I was gonna say you're putting GLBs.
Not yet.
Okay.
So, hey, anyone listening, Ordinals Marketplaces, I would love to do a GLB Ordinal of the performance that I'm doing tonight. Get at me if y'all can make that happen, but I don't know if there's any marketplaces right now. I could be wrong. Please call me out if I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to know that there are some Ordinals Marketplaces that I can use for my GLBs, but here's what I've done so far. because of size restrictions, anyone who knows anything about ordinals knows
Yes.
it's a lot of money in Bitcoin gas to mint, to inscribe your art onto the Bitcoin blockchain, right? So that you can then sell it. So you have to really invest. The bigger your file size, the more you have to pay.
Yes.
GLBs, aka the 3D sculpture file types that I need to mint or inscribe, are big. They're just big by nature. It's a 3D sculpture. It's obviously going to be bigger than a
Pixel
a
art.
photo, PNG, pixel art. Okay, right. Okay, don't even get me started. So, here's what I've done. My first ordinal ever is actually a photo. It's a still image of a VR performance. My most iconic one, which was commissioned by Paris Hilton for one of her events. Yes.
Okay.
So it was that day, and it was on 11/11/22.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Nice. Okay.
Beautiful day.
Yes.
I'm into numerology, so
Yeah.
that was, and Paris Hilton is like the most iconic, hottest, most fabulous
If you
collector
don't know,
I've ever had.
and I can prove this to you. Anyone who knows, if you go to my Discord,
Yeah.
rule number 1 in the Discord, and I will prove this right after, is do not disrespect Paris Hilton.
No, fucking
I will
way.
literally show you that. That's rule number 1. I will fight for Paris Hilton to the death. She is a pioneer in so many things, and I will
many things.
Reality TV, DJing as a celebrity. NFTs, it's dogs. Okay, you guys don't know. Dogs weren't this like living this posh lifestyle. Okay, I'm in Venice with dogs living the best lifestyle ever. Paris showed you that a dog could live that good. Okay, sorry.
Dogs deserve nice lives.
They deserve to
Fabulous,
live, yes.
amazing lives.
Yes.
And yes, I love that. I love that Paris has always done that. And also, she's an advocate. Like, she's trying to pass legislations to help children and all these things. Like, I mean, I feel it's just deeply misunderstood.
100%.
And
Well,
like,
she plays dumb, and then people think it's real, and it's like,
Right.
listen to her talk. I mean, actually, remember when she was on Jimmy Fallon, the infamous Jimmy Fallon appearance? People were like, "Whoa, she's so smart." It's like, of course she's so smart. Like, she just is. It's a, sorry.
Yeah,
You got me triggered up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she does also, support women artists. Like,
Yes.
she would literally. I mean, I can't say enough. And she's just very sweet and very just awesome.
Love that.
She's like a family woman now too, which is it's just all so
Totally.
sweet.
Her story, I'm loving watching it. You know what I mean? She's going to keep being iconic, I think, for forever, probably. So.
Agreed.
So right now, so you did your first one. You did it with Gamma, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So you did the still photograph from a
Of
Paris Hilton
from
commission.
that performance.
Yes, amazing. So I can't wait.
So that's a photo of me and then the sculpture behind it. So
Beautiful.
it's not a GLB at all.
Yeah, totally. So right now, what for are you looking at doing more?
Yes. So that is an open edition, open timed edition. Thanks to Brett at Gamma for setting that up, because that's something they have to do like wizardy behind the scenes. So yeah, that's open only for a couple more days while I'm here in Nashville, and then once tonight's performance, tonight I'm performing at the Satoshi Social.
Sick.
Right in line with the Bitcoin theme. So the performance that I do there, one of the photos that I take there will be my next ordinal.
Okay, awesome, cool. So you're going to see what it is tonight. You could go see the performance. We don't know what the photo is yet, though.
You don't know
it's
what
going
the
to be
photo
taken.
is,
Exactly.
But it'll be taken there tonight.
Well, so I could get in the photo if I just position myself correctly in the corner, and then okay.
Honestly, I'm probably going to pick a photo where it's just me on the screen.
That makes sense.
But
Okay,
yeah.
I was hoping. Okay.
I don't want to get your hopes up.
No, beautiful. No, it sounds fun. So I'm actually curious, since you've been such an OG for so long, what's been the difference between like the ETH community over into this ordinal Bitcoin world?
I don't know that I've noticed too much of a difference. I don't know. Maybe the Bitcoin people are just a little bit more like, maybe a little more posh sometimes.
Okay, posh. Okay.
That's the only thing I could really say. Just a little classier.
Classier. Okay, cool. Wow, you're
Maybe.
really trashing ETH.
In
Okay,
some
now
ways.
you're-
In some ways. I'm not trashing ETH at all. I love ETH. Love. Creatress.eth, Sarai.eth, Mexicanas.eth. Like, I love ETH.
Okay, nice. So yeah,
Yeah,
well,
the
it might
ordinals
be
is cool.
different for like the if you're on the artist side, like artists are supporting artists. The builders, it's like they're two different. Like they're fighting a war between each other of like it's easier over here, it's harder over here. So yeah.
I don't know what's easier or harder, but I know that I am meant to be an artist, and that's where I am. I'm staying in my lane forever.
Beautiful, love that. So I'm actually curious because this is another thing what we're seeing right now is this ARXR VR, this world of like art that's exploding. It's starting to grow, and I think it's going to keep expanding, right? I mean, nowadays, like a lot of kids, they just play VR games, and so saying there's art in VR, like, duh, I play Beat Saber all the time. Of course, there's going to be art here, right? So like, it feels like a scene is forming. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you're part of a scene? Do you have a lot of other peers who are doing like using similar tools and mediums, or do you feel like you're still like on your own pioneering something?
I wish I could say I feel like I'm on my own pioneering, but no, there's so many people that are doing 3D sculpting and VR art in some way or form. No one does what I do like I do it. Let's just get that straight. But there are many people doing similar or like slightly intersecting things that are amazing. And so shout out to Denver Donkey. Shout out to Tammy Levin. Shout out to Action Dine Industries. Shout out to, oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on so many people, but there are definitely other 3D artists that are they're doing stuff. Maybe not necessarily performing, but sculpting in VR. Beat Saber, by the way, love Beat Saber. If anyone wants a fun game that gets you sweating and active in VR, Beat Saber. And I'm kind of a Star Wars nerd. I'm a tech girl. I'm a sci-fi girl, whatever. So Beat Saber very much feels like you got two lightsabers in your hand. And if you like dance and music and like
you will get sweaty so fast. I literally was like, I found out I was out of shape. I was like, let me try. Oh my God, I'm out of shape. Like I was like, it can't be that much. You're just
5 songs in,
around.
you're sweaty. You're So I love the VR games. That's really the only one I use.
Nice. I did it. I guessed the random one. There you go.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah. But yeah, I do see like kids becoming more interested in it too. I have a son. He's 12, and he's tried it a few times. He liked gorilla tag, where you're like a gorilla and you have to like move around with your arms like this and like tag people and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was another one called I don't remember, but you're walking around. It's almost like a capture the flag game in zero gravity.
Oh, cool.
So that's another game he liked.
Nice.
But yeah, and then there's VR chat, which is always fun.
Oh, VR chat, it's wild. Yeah.
Right. And then you can wear any avatar you want. So I actually was on a talk show in VR chat.
Oh,
once.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're in a there's a couch, and then there's like the desk with the host, and then the host had a cat. So it was another person who was there, but their avatar was a cat. So the cat would like sit next to me on the couch, and like it was, VR chat's pretty fun for that sort of thing.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so before we wrap up here, so we got a performance tonight. So if you're in Nashville, how do we go see you perform?
Go to my my Twitter, right? x.com/Creatress art. And one of the most recent posts has an RSVP link. We've got over 600 RSVPs already.
Oh boy, okay.
It's a place that's not going to hold 600 people. So we'll get there early. It starts at 5. It's at Vibes Club here in downtown Nashville.
Nice.
And I'll be performing around 7:00. It's a free event put on by Red Rug Entertainment, Shanice Profits.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yes. And a lot of other partners. So shout out to everybody. They're tagged on the post. So
beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, we got it in the chat too. So anyone, just go look at the chat, and it's right there.
Amazing.
Beautiful. But before we wrap up, anything else you want to just, hey, this is the next thing that's coming. Follow me for this, for all the new fans, where do we look, I don't know, to get obsessed with you?
Okay. Oh my gosh. Creatressart.com is my official website. You can learn more about me, my past performances, my past artworks. Next up would be, I believe, Basel is one of the next things that I'll be planning on being at and performing at. Miami, yes. Basel, Miami, 2024 in December. So keep me in mind if you're producing any events and you'd like to include a live art performance. I swear it will make your event way more memorable.
Yeah.
Than it possibly could be. And let's see, what else? Yeah, like I said, I'm looking for residencies, and I really want to perform at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Ooh. So if anyone's listening, get in touch if you can help in any way, know where I should, and then besides that, I'd really like to perform with more musicians.
Awesome.
At music festivals. So if anyone out there is listening, knows a musician who would like to incorporate some live art into their set, 1 or 2 songs. I don't need to be
it's also such a win as a musician. Like, you can take your visuals up on the step instead of like, here's some preset visuals. Like, boom, let's
live art being influenced by the music, because we didn't really talk about that so much. But like the music during the performance is one of the things that is being shown on the sculpture. So I'm interpreting the music as a sculpture.
Totally. Yeah, it's the thing. Even if you perform like live or even DJs, right? It's like they're affecting you, and then hopefully they're watching you, and they can see where the vibes are going. It's a really unique, world to live in. So beautiful, awesome. All right, well, everyone, if you're here tonight, you can see one version of that tonight. Okay, so make sure you check those links in the chat. Creatress, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm excited to see a performance tonight. Beautiful. So
thank you so much
everyone.
for having me.